Hi guys, welcome back to Truly Sadia. Our vlog today is called The X Factor. This particular vlog is quite interesting because it examines our emotions and our feelings and how important love is in our lives. Now, I called it The X Factor because most of us who have been fortunate enough to fall in love in our lives, for some, you can fall in love, it doesn't work out, chapter closed, and you move on. For others, that particular love holds such strong feelings for them that even though the relationship is over and they both have moved on in their lives, that particular feeling of love and attachment and emotional connection stays with them throughout their lives. So what I wanted to do was really create a vlog where we can examine why is it that sometimes certain feelings pull the strings in our heart forever. Is it because that particular person is the person that we were meant to be with and things didn't work out? Or sometimes people we love, are they the right people for us to spend our lives with? What is true love? Is it okay to still be attached to your ex? Is it healthy to still be attached to your ex? So these are certain feelings that I want to explore about the human condition. And to be honest, I really want to find out, should one feel guilty because they can't get over their ex? So when I also would like to add that when I was filming this vlog, or when I had the idea of this vlog, a lot of people joked and said that, you're not going to find anyone. There are very few people who would be happy to discuss how they feel about their ex on a vlog. I think one has to expose a certain amount of their vulnerable self when discussing something like this. So I'm particularly very, very grateful for people who've participated in this vlog and shared their stories of love with their ex. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Welcome to Truly Sadia, and let's explore the X Factor. What was special about your ex? What made them so unforgettable?
Honestly, my connection with him was very, even though it was toxic, but when it was good, it was very real. It was very tender, and he made me feel like I was deserving of love. And there's this part of me that feels like I don't deserve love or I'm never gonna find love, and he really spoke to that part. Because when he was being good to me, he was just like laying the world at my feet. It's always nice to have someone who makes you feel loved in that way.
To me, her strength and her empathy, when I was still trying to discover myself, was a game changer.
We never had a relationship, but it was my first love. It was a very profound love. I was very young. The reasons I continued to love him so greatly and have so much respect for him is because whereas he was a very kind and very affectionate man, very charming, very likable, he was already in a relationship, and he was forthright and honest enough to tell me that he was very fond of me. We could never be together.
I felt like there's a lot that I did for it to not work out. Like, I expected too much from him. I did not continue to have a life outside of him that put too much pressure on that relationship. So a host of factors, but at the crux of it, it was that it was never really a relationship. I didn't ever really get the kind of commitment I wanted, and it was like this toxic. Sometimes he would come in my life and he would be great to me, and then like a week, 2 weeks later, he'd just disappear on me, and then I wouldn't hear from him. And instead of being able to give him space when that would happen, I would get even more clingier, and I'd call and I'd message, and I wouldn't leave him alone. So I think that pattern that we got stuck in, of him coming and going and then me just holding on tighter and tighter, that contributed greatly to the fact that we never really ended up working out in any sort of way.
There was never really any point to looking back. He was killed in a car accident years ago, very young, very prematurely, very cruelly. And all I was left with was a lingering memory of the man he had been. And I knew even then what a huge loss it would be for everybody who had known him. How difficult he was to replace and how difficult he was to forget.
When did you realize that you are finding it very challenging to get over your ex? When did that realization hit you?
Look, I think you never forget your first love. And she was always a wonderful person. That feeling at the time when you're so young and someone, and the passion you have for the person at the time, and your boundaries are limitless. You're not practical in your thinking. You're just a romantic at heart, and I surely was. I think she left an indelible sort of mark on my life, and it's been years, but I still think about her sometimes, and I honestly wish her well, and wherever she is, I hope she's doing well, and because she brought some wonderful things to me in my life when they were needed.
So I always have a hard time getting over relationships. This has been my pattern since my first boyfriend, which was about 6-7 years ago. But that's just because I have a really hard time letting go and accepting that things change and that things don't work out. So I knew going into this with him that if it wasn't going to work out, then it was going to be really, really difficult, and that I would spend forever trying to get over him. But it's, having said that, I've been trying to get over him for a year now, which is, I have had one sort of this relationship before, but it's not usual for me to be clinging on to the relationship for this long. And it just happened. I didn't see it coming. It just happened, and now here we are a year later, and I still miss him, and I still, think about him all the time.
What is your idea of true love? And do you think that there's one particular true love in our lives, or do you think we can fall in love repeatedly with different people at different points in our lives?
True lasting love, in my opinion, is when you care about them so much that you put their happiness before yours. I think people are very, get selfish and they talk about their happiness, and I know in Western cultures it's very important, but I think true love is actually putting yourself behind that person. It must have been love, but it's over now. It must have been love, but I lost it somehow.
Once your relationship was over, did you ever try and connect with your ex, or get in touch with them, or check them out on social media?
I still do pursue him. I don't stalk him on social media because we are blocked on each other's social media, but I still message him every once in a while. I still try to call him every once in a while. We have a mutual friend that we see each other, so I see him at that friends a lot, and that I guess sort of triggers me a little bit more. But I'm still trying to get in touch with him, and I think one of the reasons that was on and off for so long, for like a year and a half, was because he would sort of distance himself from me, and then I would just, try to reach out to him, message him, talk to him, get him to talk to me. And that sort of just became the pattern of our situationship. So I very much still do try to get in touch with him, but I have started to accept more and more that there's no use in doing so, and that I will probably not receive the response from him that I want.
What is your advice to people who find it particularly challenging getting over their exes?
I think it's a beautiful memory of my past. Why would I want to get over my ex? It's not like I'm committing a crime. This is a person who was parcel of my life and gave me some very happy times. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get together in the end. But I don't see any reason why I should get over. This is actually a beautiful part of my life. Why would I want to get over it?
I think it's so important to, it's sort of like a maelstrom, and one can plummet into a whirlpool of memories and regrets and grief and the rest of it. All very natural, all very human. But I think what one needs to remember at all times is that one's future, one's worth, value, and self should not stem from another person. It should come from within oneself. I think one also should try and remember, if one does look back and feels that, oh no, and maybe I made a mistake, and what if I had said this, what if I had done that, try to remember, painful though it may be, why the relationship wound up in the first place, and always try to look forward. Looking back is only going to bring pain.
Firstly, just know that any feeling that you feel is temporary. It's not ever going to last forever. Part of you is always going to love the person that you're having a hard time getting over, but that desire to spend your time with them, that desire to have their attention, and the intensity with which it sort of overwhelms you after a breakup, that is not going to be long lasting. I think my advice is to remember that, and my advice is to build your own life and then make your own life so full of things that give you joy, that this person that you thought was the source of all your joy becomes less and less significant to you. And just know that it's going to get better, and also know that it's only natural. You know, sometimes when I've been messaging my exes, stalking them, trying to get them to acknowledge me, I felt a lot of self-loathing towards myself because I felt like what I'm doing is shameful. But be kind to yourself.
How has your past relationship or your feelings for your ex impacted your life emotionally? Has it impacted your life in a negative way?
I thought that when I got married, although the chances of this happening were slim, that I'd be able to leave what had happened to me behind, leave behind the heartbreak, the trauma, have a new beginning, start over. But unfortunately, because I could never come to love or care for my ex-husband in quite the same way, it was a void in my life. It was an ache that really never went away for the longest time.
If you got the opportunity to get back with your ex, would you take that opportunity?
But if I could have him back in my life, I would totally have him back in my life, like right now. Because I think about him all the time, I miss him all the time. He's the first thing I think about in the morning, he's the last thing I think about at night before I go to sleep. I dream about him. I feel like I want to spend every minute of my life with him.
I think if I had had the opportunity to say something before he passed away, regardless of anything else, I would have at least told him how much I love and admire him, and how precious and how rare a human being he was. One wishes all the time that things could have been different, even if that meant that he couldn't be with me. Even if that just meant that he were alive and well and in the world. I think when you sincerely love somebody, certainly if that love is authentic and genuine, part of loving somebody is their happiness, that their happiness matters to you, even if that means giving up something for yourself. Certainly I would tell him, and I hope he can hear me wherever he is, that he was a very, very rare gem, a very precious, wonderful human being.
So, is it healthy to have feelings for our ex?
It's natural to have feelings for an ex because love and care for another human being don't just magically disappear the day a relationship ends. It takes time for our heart to let go, but over time the intensity of our feelings will decrease. This process becomes unhealthy when we refuse to accept the reality of our situation, and instead we ruminate or obsess about our relationship and our ex, especially when we do things like stalking them on social media. By doing this, we're choosing to live in the past, and we often get stuck and then are unable to get over our ex. By choosing to live more fully in the present and by creating positive new memories in different areas of our lives, we can loosen the grip of our ex and the relationship that we had with them.
What are the coping strategies you can give for an individual to get over their ex?
Moving on from a heartbreak is definitely a challenging experience. It's important to give ourselves permission to mourn the loss of the relationship. It's okay and normal to feel sad, hurt, and perhaps even angry for a period of time. In terms of some coping strategies for getting over an ex, it's helpful to look at what parts of ourselves connected most deeply with our ex and which of our needs were being met in our relationship with them. Once we can identify these, we can begin to look at how we can reconnect with those parts of ourselves and find other healthy ways to fulfill those needs in a way that does not involve our ex. I think it's important for us not to get so hung up on how do I get over my ex, but rather to ask ourselves, how do I tap into my own happiness? By constantly focusing on our ex, we're relinquishing our own internal power and resources. However, when we shift the focus to ways that we can make ourselves happy, the grip of the past and ultimately of our ex will naturally loosen. It's helpful to remember that we're responsible for our own happiness, and that true lasting happiness comes from within and is not dependent on another person. Eventually, when we have grieved and healed from our heartbreak, we have to try and move on by meeting new people, even if we don't initially want to. If needed, it's okay to use the fake it till you make it approach. By pushing ourselves to get back out there, it helps us stay in the present, and it serves as a reminder that our ex is not the only person out there for us.
I think that falling in love, not always something that ends well. Really a matter of chance, and really probably the greatest gamble of anybody's life.
I have the ability to love someone through it all, even when they're not sticking. And this is not necessarily great, but it's also good for future relationships, because people are not perfect. Like I said, they require you to love them through the worst of them as well. I've learned that I have the ability to do that. I've learned that I have the ability to love someone even if they're damaged, even if they're broken, even if they're not loving me back in the way that I want to love them.
We're on this journey of life. We don't know where it's going to lead us. If you asked me a few years ago whether I'd be what I am today, I don't think I would have remotely agreed with you at the time. But things happen, things change. We don't know what the Almighty has in store for us. You have to have faith that, you are a good person inside. And there are people like you, you'll end up meeting. You meet your ex, fantastic. If you don't, you meet someone else. But always keep them as part of your life.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this vlog. It's been an interesting journey, listening to all their stories and hearing from everyone. I think in matters of the heart has a mind of its own, and sometimes we do have feelings for our ex, and I think it's okay to have feelings for our ex, in my opinion, and I don't think we should feel guilty for that, as long as those feelings are not impacting our current relationships or our state of mind and are not impacting us negatively. Again, that's completely my point of view, but who do we control? What we love and who we love. That's just matters of the heart, in my opinion. So I want to say again a big thank you to everyone who participated in the vlog. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. It's been a rather interesting one for me, and I want to keep making interesting vlogs and entertaining you guys out there. And so for those of you who enjoyed watching this vlog, please press the like button, and for those who would like to see more vlogs, please press the subscribe button and stay tuned. There will be more to come. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time on my next vlog.
Lovers don't finally meet each other, they're in each other all along.